The day that you start Social Security impacts the rest of your life. But a lot of people, they don't look at how big of an impact the day that you start actually makes in dollar terms. One of the cases that I'm going to show you, it saved them over $100,000 over their lifetime. And they almost made what seemed like a very simple decision, but they didn't look at all of the options. The overlooked thing is one of the overlooked things is the day that you decide to start Social Security also impacts how much your spouse is going to get. So we both can agree that this is a big deal, whether you're married or divorced. Spending just a few minutes right now that can help you make sure that you make the best decision for you and for your spouse, and make sure that you don't make the mistakes that other people might make that causes them to miss out on tens of thousands of dollars. We're going to look at a few different examples here, and then we'll look at how to maximize your spousal benefits and avoid those costly mistakes. And then number two, when it might make sense to start Social Security as early as possible. And then number three is how the rules for spousal benefits change depending on whether you're married or whether you're divorced. And I want to thank a recent subscriber to this channel that we talked, and his one of his big questions was around Social Security, and it inspired this video. So thanks, Bill. And if I haven't met you yet, I'm Dave Zoller, and I own a retirement planning firm called Streamline Financial, and we helped hundreds of people retire and design their ideal retirement over the last decade and a half. And we share the best strategies on this channel that our clients use to make their retirement the best years of their life yet. Now, let's get into maximizing the spousal benefit. We're going to look at Linda and John as an example here. They're both 62, and figuring out where they're going to start Social Security or when they're going to start Social Security. So Linda said, I did a preliminary plan and we're thinking that maybe John and I should just start now. We're both retired. We kind of want the income to start. And it just seems like that makes the most sense because we can either pull money out of our accounts or we can start Social Security. And we just thought we don't want to take money from our investments just yet. And we've also got a few big vacations coming up, and we've been delaying these for years, and we might even pull from our investments regardless, but we just don't want to pull out too much too early in retirement. Does that kind of make sense? So I said that makes a lot of sense. This is really the go-go years, right? This might be the time to spend more than we will be for the rest of retirement because we're young and we can move and we can do all these things now. But I want to take a look at a few scenarios here so you can make the best decision possible. So what they said makes sense, but they didn't realize the long-term impact on the decision that they make today. And I'm going to round numbers here just to make it easy. So if John took his benefit at age 62, they're both the same age. Instead of getting the full retirement benefit at age 67, he'd only be getting 70% of his full retirement benefit. So let's look at full retirement benefit, $3,000. If he starts at age 62, he'd be getting $2,100 per month. And Linda knew her benefit was much lower than John's because she spent a lot of the last 30 years being the mom CEO of the family, right? Raising the kids and making sure everybody stayed alive. So she knew she'd probably take half of John's benefit, which is a common thing that a lot of times a lower income earning spouse will do. And because Linda wanted to start early as well at age 62, that means her spousal benefit would be reduced as well. So she wouldn't be getting half of what John's was. If she waited, she would be getting only 35% of his full retirement benefit, which comes to 1,050. So together, they'd be getting 3,150 per month, which is pretty good, right? That's $37,800 per year that they wouldn't have to take out of their investment accounts. That's kind of one of their goals. Right after this, I want to show you how these changes are different for different ages. Right now, we're looking at two people who are the same age, but what if John's older? What if Linda's older? All these things come into play. So we'll look at these factors coming up next. But for this case, they both realize this one decision, it's a permanent decision, and John's locking in $900 less than if he were to wait until full retirement age. And then Linda's locking in $450 less than her full benefit at full retirement age. And together, that's a loss of $1,350 per month. So $1,350 per month. And over 20 years, that amounts $324K. Now, again, that's not a direct comparison because they're going to be starting this and taking it for the next few years. And when you compare these numbers and everything altogether, it's about over $100,000 is the difference if they're living until for the next 30 years. So once they saw this and saw the big difference in lifetime benefit,